of Drake Defense Con. Last day, the finale. When we go to Drake Defense Con schedule on the RSI website, then we see we have the wrap up. Part 2, we are on the RSI Drake Defense Con website, the schedule 20 May, May 26th and 27th. We have now May 27th, it is the finale. All vehicles from the event are yours to take out for free. Yeah, we are not interested in the free fly. We are interested into the ships pledgeable for or from Anvil. So here we click Anvil, unavailable for purchase, to see what we cannot, but also what is already there and what will come out eventually. We go from price low to high. We have the F7A Mark II, not pledgeable. That is a special edition, rare edition. Then the C8 Pisces, then the C8X for Expedition 45, the Rescue Edition from the same form factor 65, it has a med bed in it. Anvil Arrow 75, that fighter, the Arrow, doesn't fit into the character. If we would have been Anvil, we would make sure that all these little small ships would fit into the hangar of the Carrack, not only the fish, so that we can maintain an ecosystem only from Anvil. The Hawk is out for 100. 100 is not that much. Then we got the Centurion. This one has big guns. Then the Legionnaire. Last time when we had been on this side, the Legionnaire haven't been. It is in concept. Let's look at that. For 120, affordable. It is a boarding ship. What does that mean? First of all, it is small. And when we look at this picture here, the size comparison, the people and the ship, this ship is not small. It is, in the best case, medium, mitigating risk like never before. What does that mean? You can hack into other players' ship and deploy ground foot people into the enemy's ship. Then we got the Mark I. The Mark I is an old ship. Mark I. Then the Gladiator was there before, 165. Mark II, if you want to go into combat, this would be a thing. And then on the second page, we got the Tracker for 185, the Ghost 185, Heartseeker Mark I, the Hurricane 2-seater, and for us, the Terrapins would have been, especially the medics. But now we have the fish already, so we do not need to have a second. And then the Super Hornet Mark II, dual seater, the F8 Sea Lighting 300. It is just overpriced for what it is, but it is a beauty. The ship itself is a beauty. We will do a video on that. Of course, back in the day when it was an actual rarity where you had to do something special to get one, not only the executive one, but only to get one in general, it took some effort, and that even does it more attractive. It was even more attractive to see one of the F8 out in the wild every now and then, because you knew this ship is rare. Okay, then the Crucible. The Crucible was already there for pledge. When we look at that, we see a small ship, an F7 ship. It is in that kind of weird bay. When we look at these pictures, this ship is old, very, very old. You do not know what you will get. It was back in the day when the dreams are hard. The dreams are hard, but now they implemented a repair and restock function into other ships. And this is basically the base functionality what this ship had the selling point for. But now other ships have the functionality, this ship becomes obsolete. The Paladin, gunfighter, heavy ship, awesome. Asgard as dropship, fits a Nova tank, but lots of cargo as well. The Valkyrie, an old ship, way too expensive for that kind of old ship. The Liberator, we don't know if we had seen the Liberator before, but the Liberator, we already pledged for it, of course. The Liberator is actually the one that gave us the Ironclad Assault. And here you can see 575. Then the Carrack, 600. And the other Carracks are not available. And this one doesn't give you anything. The Carrack, the RSI pledge store is weak. We can say that. It is weak, slow, and not performant. So the Carrack, why? The Carrack is the only Anvil ship that does not come only from the size close to a capital ship, but only what the amenities it offers. It has a mat bed in it, probably a tier 1, we do not know exactly. We don't have the Carrack anymore, but it has a mat bed in it. And as you can see from the pictures, it has crew rooms where you can hang around. Unfortunately, you cannot play pool, but just from the visual, the cosmetics for space streaming, for role-playing, this ship is awesome. When it comes to functionality, to actually have a purpose, it doesn't have a purpose other than impress other people, if then else. So what does that mean? What does it have? In top of the ship, there's a small bay, a hangar. You can land a small ship into the hangar. What is the small ship? The only one small ship that fits into is basically the Anvil fish. Of course, there are other little ships you can fit into, and that means all snobs. But all the snobs do not have quantum drives, or at least most of them don't have quantum drive. Yeah, that's why this ship is really, really poor when it comes to the hangar. And then it has cargo bay. Yeah, on the left side you have cargo bays, plenty of space. Plenty of space, cargo capacity, 456. That is an awesome lot of cargo capacity if you want to do. But you cannot do because these cargo bays do not open properly. So 8 SEUs is the maximum size you can transport into the ship comfortably and also drag them out of the ship comfortably. Of course, of the form factor, 16 SEUs will also fit in, but it's not comfortable to bring it into the ship and also not out of the ship. So you do not use the ship for cargo. And the front hangar, where you can load ground vehicles here, as you can see, only fits one Ursa, maybe a Cyclone, one hoverbike, and 1 or 2 Atlases. And that's it. Then it's full. You can place a box off-grid in front of it in 2. Okay, so lots of downsides. And the worst downside this ship has to offer, it only has one entrance and exit, and that is the front ramp. You only can enter and exit the ship through the front ramp, and that's it. Everybody goes in and out through the front ramp. Grounded. When you are in space, of course, then you have airlocks. You can use airlocks to get out and in. On ground, you also can go out, of course, but you will fall a little bit. And the hangar entrance, you can go out there as well in space. So it is for space streaming, the idea, the dream of exploration gameplay. Yes, we would say this ship would be the vessel we would use for our explorer team to go out. It offers everything what we need as a crew, you know what I mean? And then the most expensive ship ever in Star Citizen, the Odin. Unavailable for purchase, pure chase. So we would need to have a questionnaire or let's say an application with up to 9,999 words why we should get the Odin. And if we would get the Odin according to the application, we still would need to spend money onto that. And we had a look into it. First of all, 65 people. Our crew is, the base crew is 5 people, you would say. 5 people. We cannot man this ship. That is one thing. The other one thing is it doesn't look sci-fi. It doesn't look sci-fi. It is basically the second, if not the third ship that comes to World War II inspiration. And that tells us something what CIG, robot space industries, people are. They are still hanging on World War II. And they are the people who want to have World War III. And that's why they are still lingering in their fantasy and memories of the World War II. And they will manifest that World War II imaginary into a sci-fi environment. And you will fight with World War II spaceships like the Wolf, who looks like a Spitfire or whatnot, and this also looks like a submarine from the World War II. You can do comparison. This is the Wolf, and this one are for us, we would say, the most hated chip when it comes to the moral apostle. Okay, so look at the pictures we see. The ship itself, don't get me wrong, the ship itself looks sexy. It has aerodynamic form factor, if we want to. When we see this ship cruising in the air, you can see it even here on the pictures, how the airflow will go. Yeah, it looks like a Razer, but a big Razer. And then we see this bubble on top and say, no, this ship is fucking slow. And then we see here hangar entrance. Hangar entrances on a space station. This ship, okay, it might be closer, yeah, but it looks like as if it will block all 4 hangar entrances. And this is interesting. Of course, they do advertisement for Anvil ship, would make sense. And this stupid fucking page, why does it, can you not just stop playing? So what we see a hawk somewhere inside the bay, right? And here, what is here? Is that front? Is that rear? Or is that the left side? Right side, left side. Okay, doesn't matter. Here we see Anvil arrows, at least 2, but we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of these hangar bays, probably not just 1, 2, 3, 4 here on top. And down here we have an ass guard with space left and right. Yeah, you do not need to center this. You can place it a little bit to the left, and you can place more arrows if you want to stick to the Anvil fleet. And here you got 3 terrapins. Of course, this picture, yeah, this is a picture. This is not a 3D rendering out of what they already have, but it just shows case you can place 3 terrapins easy peasy next to each other in that bay area, in the red section. That would be here in the belly, basically. Yeah, and it looks like a big, fat, heavy tanker, oil tanker from the inside, not sci-fi. And here we got the front gun. It looks like a triple pipe, not sure what size. And you see people walking here. I'm walking here. And we will see on the specs how long it is. And when we imagine here where the engine is, the engine room probably from here all the way to the front, how many walking distances you have only inside this vessel. Interestingly, 77. Okay, then we have here, this the Odin? Probably. Yeah, it's the Odin. And it is a Polaris. And of course, they always show like this is the hero and they will get destroyed. Avant ship, triple pipe here, more Anvil ship. Yeah, we like the edgy style of the ship and completely ignore the World War II remembrance here. And then we see here, triple bay for Anvil ships, triple bays. And you can park even more ships down below. So what we do not know, does the Odin has a respawn mechanism as the Liberator promises? That's it. If you can spawn ships, if any player of your organization or party can spawn their own little ships inside this one, that would be fucking awesome. And if you as the owner of the ship are the only one who is allowed to spawn an Asgard or like just a medium ship, that would be fucking awesome. Of course, other players can use their ship and fly out, but you are the one who can spawn their ship. That would be awesome. Spawning ships, spawning spaceships inside this ship, that would be game killer. Okay, here we see remote turrets somewhere, the war room. These are just inserted through the 2D elements. But you see here something like a front view, we imagine. This is somewhat of the bridge. Yeah, you have the main captain here, and that is an actual battleship. The captain just sits here and gives command. He thinks, what the fuck is he doing? He has no idea how to do battles. This girlie looks like an apprentice who has also no idea how to manage and command a ship like this. And this guy says, yeah, you all have no idea what you're doing. I'm leaving now. And here we see I don't know, remote controls, remote turrets or whatnot. It would be cool, basically. When we see this one, if over here is the captain, yeah, the captain, if that guy here is the same guy like this one in the room, yeah, not only just like the character itself, but in the room, it would be cool if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then on the other side, another 6 remote turrets, but all of them are in the bridge, physically in the same room. Then this would be the war room. And when we look at to the right, they have a nice glance outside. And that alone, that they see outside, tells us, no, this is not the rear end where the bridge is. This is the front view. They look in front of the ship. They're looking out. That means the bridge where the captain should stand, they are behind them. So only these 6. And then the fortune tellers telling why you need to kill other people, selling an idea, golden glory. And over here we see all these missiles. Okay, these are just eye candy and clickbaiting or whatnot. Imagine you would need to manually load manually load all these missiles. Okay, and this looks impressive. Yeah, of course we are into cargo. These looks like S10 size, S10, yeah, S10 size torpedoes, like we know from the Polaris, but just different kinds. And here's plenty of space. If here are grids, if you have grids, but it doesn't look like, but if you would have grid here, you can do all sorts of stuff here. You can have cargo, average cargo. You can have your own store, all boxes. You can put guns, missiles, torpedoes, whatever. You can just grid them, like you see it here. If that would be a grid, would make sense that these also would be grid. And then you have open access basically to all this stuff. And here we do not know what's the, it looks like this is the one where you see down to the Asgard and the terrapins. And here is plenty of space. If that stuff, if that area here is not gridded for whatever, it doesn't need to be cargo. If it's not gridded for whatever, then it is just a waste of space. And that should be somewhere in the front part, probably, we assume. These are the pictures here. You can check out other YouTube videos just to see what's going on the Odin. We do not participate in the discussion, but it's quite obvious. We did our experience with the Ironclad. We pledged for the Ironclad, the Liberator, and the Legionnaire in the reverse order, and all of them had been concept. All the other ships that we have and flew around so far already had been there. The Ironclad is the only one concept ship we pledged for and now have it available in the PU. And it's a disgrace, yeah. We cannot even say that we are disappointed. It is a disgrace what CIG is delivering. And if we would have pledged for the Ironclad Assault on the day of release for $100 more than we have spent back in the days, we would have refunded the chip immediately, just to give signals. We as a customer, we do not accept this type of style of delivery of products, where you even increase the price on the day under the release before we even know what we will get. Yeah, we would completely accept if you will increase the price for IAE, for example, at the end of this year. Once you see how many people pledge for the cheaper ship, now when you release it unfinished, and then you see how many of those new backers under the release date will want to have the money back. And based on that ratio, you know you can scale the price for IAE in a legit way. But we also know the community, the cultists and whatever, never ever would give back ships. The Odin. You wouldn't believe, we have actually a friend who acquired an Odin. Thanks for watching. See you next time.